Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Anguilla. We are here in the Piper Warrior today, Foxtrot Golf Echo Delta Oscar. I like this airplane. I like this livery. The reason I like this livery is just because it's classic Piper Cherokee with the 3 lines. It's just gorgeous. And we are here in the Piper Cherokee today. And what we are doing is checking out my new old equipment, and we can see like we've got some issues here across the way with the taxiway. But let's not waste any more time. Let's go rotating beacon on. Let's look over here real quick and set this.
State saving enabled.
All right, that sounds good. No, turn it off. Okay, I'll get rid of that. Get rid of that. I like the wheel fairings. They look good. Alright, that's pretty good, I think. Do we want a GPS? Yes, we would like the GNS dual. Right? Yeah, it's better than nothing. Alright, let's turn that off. Okay, rotating beacon on. Mixture is rich. Carby is cold. Master and battery switch is on. Which didn't seem to do anything. Fuel pump on. Crack the throttles. That thing is shaking like a leaf. Look at that. And the the reason is, I'll tell you in a second. Alright, toes are on the brakes. Have a quick look outside, make sure there's nobody out there to kill or maim. And we go. No. Okay. And the next thing we're going to do, now that we've tested the fuel system, which is what we were trying to accomplish there, let's re-engage the starter. Send jiggle the throttle back to 1,000. Alright, oil pressure is good. Alright, avionics master's coming on. And if I could show you, which I can't, nav and strobe lights on, I would show you, let's lean the mixture for taxi. I would show you that I have, if you watched my most recent video, which I uploaded this afternoon, my reboxing video, which was me reboxing my Honeycomb Bravo to send back to Honeycomb Aeronautical because the thrust reverse levers do not work anymore, and therefore I had to send it back. And I probably picked like the worst possible time to send it back because we're about to get a massive snowstorm in New York, and that always delays the shipping, you know, so it's going to take a bit. Anyway, we are in the latest version of the sim, which is 131.22 or 130.22? I can't remember. It's released a parking brake. Let's turn the taxi light on. Whoa. What just happened right there? Alright, let's test the brakes. The brakes are working just fine. Anguilla traffic, Foxtrot Golf, Echo Delta Oscar, taxi to runway 10 via taxiway Bravo, Anguilla. And so, anyway, I am now back to my humble SciTech yoke for the next 2 weeks, probably. Which is fine, right? I mean, at least I've got something I can use. Let's hold short here real quick. Quick flight control check. Up on that side, down on that side. Up on that side, down on that side. Whoops. One thing you never want to hear your pilot say is whoops. Alright, that's working correctly. Alright, let's go mixture rich. Get the brakes held nice and firm. Alright, well, let's make sure we're not going anywhere here. We're not. Well, is it 2000? Left magneto. Good drop. Back to both. Right magneto. Good drop. Back to both. Carb heat. Not really much of a drop. Back to both. Fuel pump off. Fuel pressure is still okay. And now we can bring the throttle back. I should want to bring it to idle. Throttle idle check is good. Alright, single engine takeoff. What we're going to do, if we have power problems on the ground, we are not leaving the ground. We're going to come to a stop using the brakes. If we go off the end of the runway, so be it. Once we are airborne, if we have a power problem under 700 feet, we're going to look towards the right, towards the water. If we have a problem above 700 feet, we're going to look towards the right, and we're going to look to come around and land on any hard surface available, taxiway, parking lot, runway, you name it. Grass works too, by the way. Keep this leaned. Alright, so that's good. So we got our plan before we head out onto the runway. Alright. Anguilla traffic, Cherokee, Foxtrot, Golf, Echo Delta Oscar, entering runway 11. At taxiway Bravo, we're going to be back taxiing a little bit and departing runway 11, Anguilla. So, that's part of my news. The other part of my news, let me get my landing light on here. The other part of my news, I'll share with you en route. And you know what? Anguilla traffic, Cherokee, Foxtrot, Golf, Echo Delta Oscar, or back taxiing full length, runway 11 for departure, Anguilla. I just kind of thought to myself, you know what? Don't be a fool. Back taxi the full length of the runway. There are 3 things that are useless to you as a pilot. Number 1 is runway behind you. Well, it's not necessarily in order, but number 1 is runway behind you. Number 2 is fuel in the fuel tanks on the ground that you could have loaded into your airplane but chose not to do. In other words, fuel in the self-service fuel pumps that you did not use. And altitude above you. Because altitude, as we all know, is energy. Alright. And I did this yesterday. I was really pretty pleased, actually. I did this yesterday in the real airplane, which was Anguilla traffic, Warrior, Foxtrot, Delta Oscar, taking off runway 11 Anguilla, right crosswind departure to the south. There were like 3 Cherokees. I fly out of an airport with a 12,000 foot long runway, and 3 Cherokees taxied all the way back for a full length departure. I was really proud of those guys, and I did the same because you know what? That runway is not of any use to you unless you use it. So, heading indicator checks for the runway number. We are on center line. Takeoff power is coming in. Mixture is rich. Alright, engine instruments are in the green. Airspeed is alive. 65 knots. We'll start start easing it off the ground. And there we go. Wait. And you hear me say, ooh, wait, because 400 feet AGL can start our turnout, because what I did not do, I did not set my I didn't set my trim for the yoke, which is really stupid, because I don't have a trim wheel anymore. And look, that ship in the background, just above the airplane, no longer has that that weird like artifact stuff. Alright, we're gonna come back, we're gonna push the nose down. Until we hear a distinct drop in the power of the engine. Then what we're going to do is hit the escape button and go see if we can set up our yoke trim. Darn it. So, how are you guys doing? Elevator trim, elevator trim. Let's just type elevator trim. Yeah, I'm aware of this. It's all okay. Elevator trim nose up. Validate. Elevator trim nose down. Validate. Apply and save. Alright. There we go. So thank you for bearing with me on that. It was inevitable that I was going to forget something. So I went flying yesterday in the actual Cherokee. If you guys want to look up and see whether I know what I'm doing, it was November 56125, and it was Sunday the 12th of March at about 1 o'clock. Eastern time. Went out, did some turns in the practice area, and then came back and did 3 landings to get my currency back to carry passengers, because I don't usually fly a whole lot in the winter. So that's what we did yesterday, which was a good time. And my landings were just brilliant. They really were. Landings were really spot on. A tiny little crosswind. Nothing to brag about for sure, but tiny little crosswind. And I just kicked out the little bit of crab. I mean, so kicked out the little bit of crab and really just put it right, perfectly aligned right at center line all 3 times. Really pretty pleased. And I was being sort of judgmental of myself and being very precise in my flying and in my expectations of myself, because I'm going to hear it here first. I am going to get my commercial pilot's license. And I do have a specific job in mind. It would not take a genius of you, from my faithful viewers, to figure out which job that is. I mean, it's not like I expect, that, like, I'm so important in everybody's life that you'd be like, oh yeah, this is what Mike's gonna do. But yeah, it wouldn't take a whole lot of creativity to kind of figure out what flying job I'm interested in. And no, it is not like flying for American Airlines. That ship has sailed in my life. I am 47 years old, and a youthful and immature 47, I'd like to think. But 1 second. St. Barts traffic, Warrior Foxtrot Delta Oscars, 10 miles to the north, inbound runway 10, St. Barts. Yet, no matter how youthful I consider myself, there is no denying the fact that, my chances in an airline career are over. And frankly, I really don't have a whole lot of interest in flying from Toledo to Dallas, and then to Kansas City, and then to Minneapolis. It's just not really. Which could I become an airline pilot at this point in my life? Yep, I should. I could. But I'd, in all likelihood, be a regional guy. Who knows? But it's not really the 5x5.
Copy that.
And it's not really what I want to do anyway. It's not really the lifestyle I want to have. I mean, I would want to be home, at night. At least most of the time. And so anyway, I have made the determination that I'm going to get my commercial pilot's license this year. And I'll tell you, it's intimidating. It's, you look at the world and you look at the number of commercial pilots there are, and every single one of them at some point in their lives did, chandelles and lazy eights and steep spirals and all that fun stuff. And I'm, you'll have noticed from my flying, if you watch any of my videos, I'm a straight and level guy. I like instrument flight. You'll never find me doing aerobatics. You'll never find me flying, fighter jets. It's just not my thing. I'm just not interested in it. I'm interested in the airplane as a tool of transportation and sightseeing. And, but anyway, so what I did yesterday was I went out and did some, not steep turns, but steep-ish turns, because so I'm going to work on the maneuvers, the commercial maneuvers, kind of in order. And the first one to get down is steep turns. And steep turns for commercial pilot check ride are less than 60 degrees, basically 50 degree banks, right? Which is a pretty steep turn. I mean, you have to do 45 for private pilots, so it's not that big a deal, but it's if you've never done steep turns, 45 plus degree turns in a Piper Cherokee or in a Cessna 152 or 172, it's steep, you know. So anyway, I gotta get the feel back for doing that. St. Barts traffic, Warrior Foxtrot Delta Oscar, Porsche inbound runway 10, St. Barts. So I went and did that, and the other thing is, of course, power off 180 degree spot landings, which I'm not going to start doing those right away. But what I can do is start making sure that my power on landings are precise, because everything about the commercial pilot rating is about being precise, as well as should be. You know. So that's what I'm going to be doing in the real airplane this year. And so what I plan on doing is effectively kind of chair flying the maneuvers in the simulator, which means you don't use the simulator to work on maneuvers in terms of kind of actually performing them, but you can teach yourself the sequence of do your clearing turns, St. Barts traffic, Warrior Foxtrot Delta Oscar, 3 mile left base runway 10, St. Barts, and learning the mechanics of like the order of the sequence of physical movements to perform the kind of like the visual checkpoints and the mental checkpoints that you have to have and you have to hit. Alright, next notch of flaps. Alright, mixture is rich, carpy is cold. Let's go fuel pump on. St. Barts traffic, Warrior Foxtrot Delta Oscar, Sugarloaf inbound 10, St. Barts. And that way, you kind of know the sequence. And you can chair fly, chair flying is a really great way of doing things, like just to sit down and mentally go through the steps in each maneuver. Great way to learn how to fly the pattern, great way to learn how to fly instrument approaches, great way to learn flows, even flows for a Piper Cherokee, such as the following flow. Alright, flaps are set. Mixture is rich, carb heat is cold, fuel pump is on, seatbelts are secure. That is my flow. St. Barts traffic, Warrior Foxtrot Delta Oscar, short final 10, St. Barts.
Traffic 738, push back, gate Alpha 1, funding runway.
We gotta go power out here. throttle is all the way up. That was a bit of a plopper of a landing, but you know what? When you're coming into this airport, you just got to get on the ground. There's no two ways about it. You know, I'd rather have a flat 3-point landing than go off the end of the runway. So let's lean the mixture for taxi. St. Barts traffic, Warrior Foxtrot Delta Oscar back taxiing runway 10 full length St. Barts. And we'll come down here. And so I'm going to be essentially kind of learning the steps involved in the various maneuvers and practicing the steps in the simulator so that when I get in the real airplane, at least the mechanics, like the step-by-step processes, are in my feeble little mind. So, and I have to figure out how to get huge jets off the tarmac at St. Barts. So I'm gonna go up here to GA parking. As a matter of fact, there's a big hint right there. Is where I hope to fly someday. Big hint. For those of you who are observant. I'm gonna go park over here. Here's another big hint at where I hope to fly someday. Big hint. Hint, hint. Alright. See if you guys can figure it out. Hint. Alright. Oh, got myself in a pickle here, haven't I? That's pretty good. Mixture, idle. Cutoff. Throttle is idle. Lights are coming off. Avionics master is off. Fuel pump off. Mags off. Master and battery switches off. Let's set the parking brake. Did we put our flaps up? No, we did not. So it's kind of hard to say that I want to hint, fly professionally if I'm not going to put my flaps up after landing, because we all know that professional pilots put their flaps up upon landing. It's just the way we do things. So, how is the Cytec throttle compared to the Bravo? You know, it felt fine actually for this landing. It really did. For this flight, it'll be even better next flight because I have my trim set up. I will be happy to have my Bravo back. The big thing with the Bravo, of course, is that you can you can fly twin engine, you can fly twin jets and complex airplanes, whereas this is a rather much more simple item. But anyway, that's a little bit about what I'm up to, and you're gonna be seeing me a lot more in this airplane. Doing some cross countries. We'll do some fun stuff in the next couple weeks. So I hope you guys are well, and talk to you soon.